I'm Attorney Drew Page, and in this video, I'm going to tell you who won the first week of Undercover Billionaire Season 2. Let's go. If you haven't seen the 3 videos I've done on each of the participants, Grant Cardone, Elaine Culotti, and Monique Idlett, then check the playlist down in the description and watch those videos because they are going to help you see the reason for my analysis in this hopefully very short video. Because I mean, who wants to see a long drawn out video about analysis? So let's keep this short and sweet. Who won each segment? The first thing that we can look at that's easily identifiable is the cash. So let's see what everyone's situation is when it comes to the almighty dollar. At the end of the first week, Grant has not spent any money at all. In fact, that was one of his major goals, was to not spend a single penny of his $100. And he succeeded at that in the first week. But Elaine was able to get a job, and through that job, she was able to elevate her cash holdings. Even though she had spent some initially, with the job that she got at CMC Farms, she was able to up her income to be the most of anyone else. Monique, on the other hand, spent her money on the baked potato. As far as we saw from the video, that was the only thing that she spent her money on, but that brought her total down to about $98. So of the 3, Monique is in last place. Grant is in second place. The next way we can evaluate winners and losers is by looking at their living situation. Did they find a place to live, and how much did they pay for it? Grant was able to secure a trailer, an RV, from Ryan, a person that he had not met, and yet he agreed not only to let him stay in that RV for the first week, but also said another week. So Grant's living situation is good. So we're going to put a check by Grant. I'm doing an L for living situation. I hope that's easy to follow along. Now, Elaine was able to secure not only the first week at the Shepherd's Inn, but was also able to secure it for the next 30 days. She did so, however, on the basis that she would provide $500 worth of services in exchange for $400 worth of rent. So she did get that long-term housing, but technically it comes at a net loss of about $25 per week when you spread over that $100 loss between the $500 in services to the $400 in rent over 4 weeks. So she did get housing. So we're going to put a check by her name. Monique also was able to secure housing. She got a 3-night stay from Pastor Chris at a hotel that she did not have to pay for. And then once she was out of the hotel, she was able to secure housing with a rising star in politics in Tacoma, Washington. And she's allowed to stay there until she, quote, gets back on her feet. So it seems that she also is able to secure long-term housing. So we'll put a check by her name. So in the area of housing, I would say all 3 of these are a wash because they all were able to get housing and they all were able to secure it without having to pay for it except for one night of Elaine paying $25. Remember, she paid $25 for one night, and then she's giving $500 in services in exchange for $400 worth of rent of a month's stay. So that comes into the total evaluation, but they all secured their housing at pretty much no cost. The next thing we can look at is, were they able to secure food? Food is something that's obviously necessary for survival, so were they able to eat? As far as food, Grant secured a $100 tab from Ryan to eat at a restaurant. So his food was covered for the entire week. So he is +1 in the food category. Elaine and Monique both were able to get food, but both of them, so far as what we saw in the first week's video, had to pay for their food. So they did get food, but they equally had to pay for it. So I'm giving them both a 0 on that. And finally, the last way we will evaluate them is by seeing how many of their goals they accomplished. Did they accomplish what they set out to do? Because one of the important things about the Undercover Billionaire is hitting your targets, establishing your targets and hitting them. Who hit their targets and who didn't? Well, Grant's targets were that he would make between $3,000 and $4,000 the first week, that he would get his kids to Pueblo, Colorado, and that he would not spend any of his money. The only goal that he accomplished of those three was that he not spend any of his money. And he didn't. But the other two goals of 3,000 to 4,000 he did not get in episode 1, and he has not moved his family out in episode 1. So out of those three goals, he only accomplished a third of those. We're going to put G for goals. Now, Elaine's goals were that she would find a job, that she would secure housing, and then that she could find a piece of real estate to develop. In week 1, she found a safe place to stay at the Shepherd's Inn. She also was able to secure a job, but she has not as yet established that piece of real estate to secure her business in episode 1. So she accomplished 2/3 of her goals. Monique only gave us 2 goals. She wanted a safe place to stay, and she wanted a strategic job that would help her to be able to propel into the future. She certainly got a safe place to stay between the hotel and Tawana's house, but she has not yet secured that job in this week's episode, so she's accomplished 1 out of her 2 goals. So, looking at this analysis, we see that Elaine was leading in cash, that they were awash in a living situation. Grant won in the food category because he was actually plus $100 in the food category. And regarding goals, Grant achieved 1 out of 3, Elaine 2 out of 3, and Monique 1 out of 2. So in the first week's ranking, I declare Elaine Culotti the winner of week 1 by a very slim margin. While Grant did put up a good fight and made excellent contacts for the future, he did not achieve his targets and he did not secure other income at this particular point in Undercover Billionaire. Now, we'll see what it's like in episode 2, but as for episode 1, I would rank it Elaine 1, Grant 2, and Monique 3. So what do you think of my analysis? Does it make sense? What categories would you add in here? Would you add something like making contacts? What other ideas would you suggest to evaluate? Do you think Elaine won, or do you think Grant won, or do you think Monique won? If you like this content, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and please put in the comments who you think won episode 1 of Undercover Billionaire Season 2. I'd love to get the debate, and I'd love to learn from each of you. So please put in the comments what you think, and stay tuned for more videos in this Undercover Billionaire series. Again, I'm attorney Drew Page with the law firm Randall Page. You can reach me at my Suffolk, Virginia office at 757-935-9065. My website is www.randallpagelaw.com, and my email is drewpage@randallpagelaw.com. You can pick up a copy of my new book, The Right Defense for a Traffic Offense in Virginia. You can click on the links below. Be sure to check out my playlist of Undercover Billionaire analysis, and stay tuned for more Undercover Billionaire content.